Hi, this is Sean, your RSA approved driving instructor with PassFirstTime.ie, Ireland's online driving school. Welcome to yet another in our series on how to pass your test in 2021. And I'm recording this on the 21st of May, and things are returning somewhat to normal with driving tests and driving lessons. So a lot of people are delighted to be getting back on the road again. In this lesson, we're going to take it really back to basics, because I do find as a driving instructor that a lot of people take the basics for granted. Like if I say to a person, do you know how to turn left and right, your proper road position? Most people will say I do, but yet when it comes to going out on the road and actually taking the turns, a lot of people will be slightly out in their road position, and a driving examiner will penalise you for this. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're really going back to basics. And what we're going to look at is turning left. And we'll do a series of these maybe as well in the next one. Then we'll look at turning right. This will seem maybe fairly basic, like I say, but it's very important that you get it right. So let's take a look first of all at a left turn and a standard left turn. So your normal road position as you drive on a road that's, we'll say, reasonable, you're going to be fairly central. On a wider road, you'll be slightly closer to the curb than you will to the centre line. This road here, as you can see, the car is reasonably central, maybe slightly to the left. You mirror and signal on approach to your left turn, and you're taking it nice and slow, making sure you have all your gear work and your clutch work done in advance of the left turn. So you're concentrating totally on your turn. What you don't want to do approaching your left turn is turn too early and maybe clip the curb, or turn too late and cross over into the oncoming traffic lane. You want to stay in your side of the road, looking into your road to make sure it is safe to turn. So if everything is good, you roll away into your road, off into your new road, check your centre and right mirror, and drive away nice and safely. So your normal path for a left turn, road position primarily is what we're looking at here, just to make sure you're turning in the right place on the road. So that's your normal path there, the yellow line for a left turn. Let's take a look now at some examples of obstacles you can meet on your way to your left turn. So first of all, there's a parked car here on the left. You're overtaking the parked car, and then you're signalling to take your left turn. Now, again, your observation will be important here, because you're looking to make sure there's no reason you can turn into the road. But you should also be starting, especially if it's an open junction, to glance across into the road to check what's inside in the road you're turning into and make sure that you're able to do anything you need to do. So at this stage here, you would be moving slowly, because you can see clearly there's a parked car in the road you're coming into, and there's also an oncoming vehicle coming out of that road. All of this, the speed that you take this at will vary depending on how wide the road is. There's an old saying, less space, less speed. I like it. The more the road closes in, the slower you go. So at a suitable speed, you turn into your road, and if you take the junction nice and calmly and plan ahead, you will allow for the fact that the red car has come up beyond the parked car and up to the junction. And that way you will have created enough space, if there's no other oncoming traffic, for you to move calmly out around the parked car. So looking ahead, planning, observation, the keys to getting all of these right. It's all like a jigsaw. If you put the jigsaw together properly, you'll get a great result. So let's take a look at another scenario, and this time on approach to your left turn, we have a hazard in the form of a pedestrian walking there. Very nice dog. So what do you do here? Again, you plan early. So it depends on how far away from the junction the pedestrian is. It depends on how fast the pedestrian is walking. But you look and you assess and you decide very quickly whether, number one, you have enough time to pass the pedestrian and turn safely. Or number two, the pedestrian is going to reach that junction just about the same time, if not sooner than you. So you will have to slow down and make sure you keep the pedestrian safe. So on approach, your plan should be to do whatever you need to do. In this case, as you can see, you're meeting just pretty much on the junction. If the pedestrian looks like they're going to keep walking, then you must slow down and allow the pedestrian to cross and move safely when you can afterwards. This will vary again. dramatically again, because sometimes the pedestrian will come to the junction and they will clearly be stopped and have no intention of crossing the road, and they will actually be letting you proceed. In that case, you would proceed. It is the safest thing to do. You don't want to confuse the pedestrian. However, if it looks like the pedestrian is going to keep walking, that is what you do. You slow down enough to allow the pedestrian to clear, and then you can clear your left turn nice and safely. The bottom line is that you keep yourself and the pedestrian, and the dog of course, nice and safe. Another scenario, this happens regularly, cyclist in front of you approaching a junction. You need to plan very early what you're going to do. Again, it will come down to how close to the junction you meet the cyclist, how fast the cyclist is travelling. There will be a lot of variables. But if you feel you can pass the cyclist safely before the junction, you slow down, keep a nice safe distance back from the cyclist, and just allow the cyclist to clear the junction, and then you can take your left turn nice and safely. So we've looked at a couple of scenarios there. There are others, but it just gives you the idea that you need to plan your left turns. Your road position needs to be correct. Let's take a look at another situation for a left turn. Now, this is a T-junction, and if you're turning left at a T-junction, the most common error I find is people don't use the Y area at the top. As you can see, this car is going to move beautifully into the Y area, so you're turning slightly to the left at the top of your junction, and this will vary depending on the size of the junction, but you follow the line of the curb around to the left at the top. The most common error is that people, when they stop to turn left, their wheels are facing straight ahead. This will only happen if it's a very, very tight 90-degree turn. But if you have a little Y area at the top, you should be into that Y area. It makes it easier for you to turn into the road you're turning into, because you've slightly turned already. You're going to stay on your own side of the road. And it's the correct position for your left turn. So be very careful if you're turning left at a T-junction that you use that Y area at the top of the road. Another scenario you need to look at T-junctions is other traffic. So as we approach this junction, you can see clearly that the junction is blind because of parked vehicles on your right, and you also have a vehicle on the left in the road you intend to turn into. So you need to do what's called, again, different driving instructors have different ways of phrasing all of these situations. Peep and creep is the phrase I use. So you roll up to your junction, you might pause for a sec, but then because you are not able to see to the right in particular initially, you need to peep and creep. So you need to roll out, and remember, you're rolling safely here because the van here is causing traffic coming from your right to move out around it. So you can move out safely, roughly around to the edge of the van initially, and then you're peeping and creeping until you get to a point where you can see safely up to the right-hand side and also into the road you're turning into because of the parked vehicle. Once you get to here, your visibility is good. You are able to make a healthy decision as to whether it's safe to turn left or not, and if it is, you calmly move in to the road you're turning into. Now, this all happens in literally seconds. So it is important that the minute you do get to your junction, that immediately you recognize that you have to peep and creep because visibility is poor. You do not want to be holding back behind the line in your car, because if you hold here, you will never be able to see properly. So immediately you're starting to make that progress so that you can make a healthy decision and you can decide whether it is safe to turn left in this particular situation. Let's take a look at another scenario that can happen on a left turn, and that is when you have hazards appearing. So you're in the correct road position, you've signalled to turn left, you're approaching your junction, all looks good. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eye, you see a cyclist approaching from the left very quickly. Now, where is the cyclist going is the question. You must have a look at the cyclist and figure it out very, very quickly. And if you think there's any danger that the cyclist is going to cut across the road that you're moving up towards the top of, then you have to slow down accordingly. So here we go, the cyclist clearly about to cross our road. You simply slow down in time so that the cyclist crosses, and then you can resume afterwards. But be very careful, anticipate what's going to happen, and that way you keep yourself and the cyclist very, very safe. So there's a quick look at left turns. Hopefully you've got something from that. Keep an eye on your road position, watch out for any hazards and deal with them nice and safely and early. Plan early what you're going to do. In the next video, we will take a look at right turns, road position and how you deal with hazards on right turns. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe please, share it with anyone you think might benefit from it. And if you're looking for more information on how to pass your driving test in 2021, check out our full guide to the driving test at PassFirstTime.ie or the 3-part free driving test secrets video course, well worth having a look at PassFirstTime.ie. Till the next video, safe motoring, and if you're doing your test, all the best with it.